Just like gunshot.
Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching Healthy Alternative. Today, I want to talk about the benefits of Michael, and today we're going to be talking about.
Today we'll be making one of my favorite soups.
Welcome to the
tomato
JR72 challenge.
I am Animated Mel, and I am your mental and wellness coach for
As always, perfection is not needed, but consistency.
We must first lovingly accept what is. You can't heal a body you can't.
Yeah, we get right into it.
Man, I thought we was getting more intros.
Yeah, you thought you had more
I thought
time.
we had more intros coming.
We're getting right into it tonight. What's going on, everybody? How y'all feeling?
Happy Sunday, y'all.
Sunday,
Hey.
Monday, everybody. Tomorrow is Monday.
Tomorrow is
Days of the
tomorrow.
week.
Tomorrow is Dry Fast Day. That's what tomorrow is.
Hey.
Tomorrow is the day you're going to change your life. You've never done dry fasting, you're going to change your life tomorrow, starting tomorrow. Okay. We are very excited to get started with the dry fasting, but we have a few things we want to touch on before we actually get into the dry fasting. I see that someone had asked about their package. Okay, so here's what I got. I'm gonna tell y'all this. Once we give your package to the post office, it's out of our hands. Like there's nothing more we could do about it. The mass majority of y'all should have probably already got your packages by now. If your package got delayed, there's nothing I could do about that. That's the post office. I promise you, if there was something I could do, I would. I know sometimes it's frustrating. I promise you, I did everything in my power to get y'all's packages out. We don't have anybody's package pending, okay? The only packages that are pending are for some of the international people that never paid the international. There's a shipping fee. So if you're on the call and you're international and you haven't got your package and you're not checking your emails, you might want to check your emails because we probably requested a shipping fee from you. So if you haven't received any update about your package, that might be why. So I just wanted to address that just because we got a couple of emails about packages. And you know, if it's been in limbo for 7 days, y'all, I wish I could do something. It's just nothing I could do. So reach out to support if you have questions about that. Support at ahealthyalternative.org. Check your inbox. Anytime when the package gets scanned by the postal service, you get an email with tracking. So it should be in your email already. Sometimes it goes to spam. All right, so there's that. The Jasmine, were you able to get those questions pulled up?
Yes.
All right, so what we're gonna do is, if you guys are live, I want you to definitely start putting your questions in the chat, and we're gonna start tagging those questions. There's one thing we're gonna go over first. The first thing that I want to talk about is your prep. So in the past, when we have done challenges, water fasting challenges give you a lot of leeway for mistakes. I didn't do well. I hear it every challenge. Chris, I didn't do the prep right. I made a mistake. What should I do? All right, cool. This is not the water challenge. This is a dry fast. So we have to make sure that we're doing our prep properly. If you guys have not done your prep properly, and you know, I'm not saying you have to be 100%, okay? But I would say, and coaches, you guys chime in. I would say at the very least, if you didn't do your juice the past couple of days, and if you were eating pizza on Friday night, do not start your dry fast. Y'all chime in. Let me know what you think about that.
Yeah, if you ain't been doing it, if it's been like, if you've been doing things that are actively detrimental because you haven't been able to get the transition just right, and you haven't had that nice gradual easy flow from step 1 to step 4 to, and it's been really janky, you might want to take a few more days of preparation.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just add in, like, the key process, the reason from the quick start to the preparation is like hydration. We're hydrating our bodies. That's why we're recommending, the hydrating fruits and vegetables, getting a gallon of liquids in a day. So if you're not doing, either or neither, then it's just kind of like you're doing yourself a disservice by not, preparing your body with the hydration needed as you transition into, dry fasting only. So that's why we just push hydration, hydration, hydration. And if you aren't hydrated. And also, I just want to mention, because some people have reached out and said, like, oh, well, I'm not really like thirsty. Well, thirst is like you're past the point of dehydration, so you don't actually want to be feeling thirsty. You just want to, have your 8 to 16 ounces of water per hour and not reach that point of like feeling thirsty and then reaching for the water. So,
And
yeah,
I would,
you gotta be proactive.
yeah, I would say also don't try to be a superhero. I know a lot of people, they're like, you know what, I didn't prep and I didn't, but I'm still just go ahead and do this dry fast anyway. But understand that this dry fast, this is a whole different new monster, So, but it's a beautiful monster if you handle it properly. So just listen to your body, and the reason why we, I guess, make caution when it comes to prepping is because we want to see you succeed in this. We want to see you succeed and overcome any type of hurdles that may have come your way in the past. So being properly prepared, even if it may not be on the exact timeline that we set up for you, we understand that life happens. So make sure you do take care of yourself and be mindful of everything that you're consuming, and take those necessary steps in order to make sure that you're ready for this fast. Okay.
And since everybody else said something, I guess I will add my 2 cents. Understand that when you come into this process, do you want to go through it and do you want it to be perfect and you lose all the weight that you set out to lose? Yes, that is the goal. That is what we want to do. But we have to understand the honest truth about things. And most people are not going to get to the end. They're not going to do it perfectly. They're not going to finish it. Right. And that's okay. The whole point of this is for you to learn. And if you don't go through the preparation properly, if you know that you haven't done well and you know that you have struggled through prep and you start dry fasting and you get through half your day and you're just like, oh, this didn't work. I'm struggling. I'm just going to stop. And then what happens is that me, Jasmine, Chris, Jamel, John, like we will get these calls from clients after the program and be like, oh, the DR96 didn't work for me, right? And then I have a conversation. It's like, well, tell me about your process. Come to find out, they were eating Chinese food Friday night. They weren't doing the juice fasting because they were just like, oh, I can't find juice. And then they started dry fasting on Monday. They got through, 8 hours, and then they stopped, right? The whole purpose of this is to learn. You're here with the coaches, with all of these other people. This is where you want to make mistakes. And I promise you, there are plenty of people that will not be starting tomorrow that will still be going through preparation. So don't be afraid to take a step back and be like, you know what? Maybe I need 2 or 3 extra days. Maybe I need to make sure I go through my juice fasting, and then I will start the dry fast on Wednesday, right? And then if you have questions about that, you can reach out to one of the coaches and we can assist you. But understand that this is a learning process, and do not be afraid to make mistakes and take a step back and be a few days behind. So don't feel like you got to be right on point with everything. The whole point of this is to learn.
Okay, cool. So I'm looking in the chat. It's very interesting, the conversation going on in the chat. First thing I do, I just want to make sure that I was clear with the packages. This is not the post office telling you, hey, we have your package. This is our system alerting you that the package has been shipped. It gives you tracking and everything. Okay. So I saw a couple people seem like they were confused about what I was saying. So it's not the post office saying, hey, your packages, they don't tell you nothing, right? It's our system telling you that your package is on the way, and you get a email. So that. I saw someone say I had something light to eat today. If you've been doing well up until this point and you had something light to eat today, I wouldn't say you need to necessarily delay your fast, but I would question why you had something light to eat today. Today, the whole point of yesterday and today is to replace your caloric intake with juice. So maybe you're not drinking enough juice. I don't know. You know, it could have been a moment of weakness or you forgot. I don't know, right? Like only you know the answer to that. But make sure you guys are getting your juice in. Obviously, it's getting late now. I've got my green juice. You know, I'm finishing up my green juice now. But I just wanted to address that. And there was a couple questions, Jazz, that I had starred. I'll knock out a couple of these, and then we'll go into the questions that were submitted that I didn't finish on the Q&A call. So, all right. So I got my package today. Should I still do the restore tonight? Yes, definitely. That's when I recommended for you guys to do it at the end of the week. So definitely do your restore. Take both sachets, and if you've got an enema kit, do your enema kit tomorrow. Can you guys speak to heartburn, please? If you're experiencing heartburn already, I'm assuming you're talking about you're having heartburn now. Then obviously, you know, that's a dietary thing. I would look at what have you been eating during the challenge, and if it's drastically different from what you typically eat and you don't typically have heartburn, this question's a little vague. I don't know if one of the other coaches maybe understands a little better. I'm not exactly sure like what you're asking, because heart like that can mean a lot. Like, or maybe if you could follow this up with more detail. Does anybody else have it? I don't know how to answer it, because it's like speak to heartburn as far as what? Dry fasting, as far as you're eating now and having heartburn? Do you have heartburn on a regular basis? Give me some more details and we'll come back. Hello. Are there any indications to pause the dry fast? So the main one that I point out for you guys is just simply the mouth becoming dry. So you should notice that you have more moisture than you thought you would. Everybody thinks you're going to have dry mouth starting off. I have not personally seen where people start off with dry mouth. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I just haven't seen that. So typically your mouth is very moisturized, and then when the mouth starts to dry up, it's not a 100% you have to stop. Okay, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I use it as an indicator to be like, okay, let me go ahead and break it, because for me and for those that I've talked to, it usually comes later on in the cycle. You know, the dry mouth usually comes, 4 or 5 days in. So I'm gonna let the coaches speak to, what their experience has been and if they have any other indicators they like to follow.
I would just want to add, just right on the back of that, real quick. When you're talking about dry mouth, there's a difference between like your mouth or you desiring water and your mouth feeling like it's in a desert and you just eaten 20 zestine crackers and you just can't produce saliva. So that's really what I just want to be clear, because obviously you're not drinking. And as you go through the process of dry fasting, just like water fasting, when your body has to stop using stored glucose and glycogen and start getting it from fat, the same thing with your water in your body. As your body goes through the process of producing more of the hormone ADH and the vasopressin system kicks on, you are going to experience that. Yes, you are going to experience thirst. First day and a half, your mouth may start to get a little dry. And then as the system picks up and it's like, oh, we need to start holding on to our hydration, then you should experience a regular level of like hydration in your mouth. If it gets to the point where you feel like you've been eating crackers all day, maybe it's time to break it. And as you go on and you do longer and longer dry fasts, you'll realize that that time frame that it takes for that to happen gets longer and longer and longer for it to happen. So, yeah.
Okay. John, Jazz, Mel.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, like, say throughout it, since this is a soft dry fast and not a, hard dry fast, we can connect with water. I found like sometimes just like rinsing my mouth out with water could be helpful. Sometimes like going outside, being, outside in the air and like just getting hydration on me in other kind of ways in a shower, not like a super hot shower, but just a shower, things like that, like water could absorb in me. And I found that to be just helpful.
Yeah, big time. Just how when people get stranded on an island and they don't have no potable water. One of the things that people do is just sit in the ocean to passively bring in moisture. So it's not about necessarily drinking it, although drinking it fulfills that the physiological need, that cleanliness of the mouth, but to hydrate your body at a certain level, you can just sit in water and your body will take it in and therefore keep you alive. So just like Jazz said, sit in the tub, get a foot soak, need some cold water, and then just sit in it. And that'll help take in hydration as well without actually drinking it. So
John always coming with like a different perspective. I love it. Because like you always hear about people being stranded and not having water, but there's water all around you, but not a drop to drink. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And it's like, nah, just put your body in the ocean. But also, the water, in general, the body takes in moisture through the skin. So you take your shirt off, you expose your skin, because a lot of the material we wear is moisture wicking, so it's gonna pull moisture out of you. Shoot, we even buy, Steve, I know you know about the fitness gear. You buy the moisture wicking fitness gear, like it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to take a couple more questions that you guys submitted. Then we're going to go over to the questions that were submitted ahead of time. Then we're going to come back. All right. I have congestive heart failure and worry about dry fasting with this issue. Do you all have any experience with anything like this? Well, I think I did an interview with a lady a super long time ago that had congestive heart failure who found I don't remember that she did dry fasting. I don't recall, but she found fasting to be extremely helpful for reversing that condition. Fasting is a natural process. So this is the thing you guys got to understand. Fasting is completely natural. I think I had a conversation with somebody. They were saying that they were nervous about the dry fast. They're like, hey, starting to get cold feet. I'm nervous about dry fasting. And basically just questioning, like, they're doing their Google searches and Google saying it could cause this, it could cause that, it could cause it. All right, cool. Well, what I want you guys to understand is fasting is the most natural thing you could do. Okay, it's built into it's part of how our human design. It's part of how we are made. So I need you guys to understand that part first. Once you understand that part, then I'm going to pose the question. If fasting is the most natural thing we could do, any other therapy has to be some degree less natural than that, right? Now, when I talk about any other therapies, I'm talking about taking medication. I'm talking about, like, I don't know, red light therapy. I'm talking about whatever, sauna treatment, whatever you could probably think of has to be some degree less natural than fasting. Okay. You do, and I'm not talking about you specifically, but we people do all kinds of stuff. I'm sure you're taking some type of medication or you have taken some kind of medication at some point for that, right? If fasting's the most natural thing you can do, and you're taking a drug, a pharmaceutical drug to help aid, and you find that to be fine, then fasting can't be more dangerous than that. Does that make sense? Am I making sense, y'all? You get what I'm getting at? Like, fasting's it's the baseline. It can't get any safer than that. So whatever potential things that you might be worried about, it's just like this is the baseline. So what I will say is, obviously we need to go into it properly. Fasting done improperly can be dangerous, right? So we do understand that. And what is a fast? It's the preparation, it's the fast, whatever fast you choose to do, it's the refeed. That is a fast. It's those three elements. So when I talk about fasting, I'm talking about all three elements. You need to do them all properly, and then you will have a very natural experience. That's why we told you guys at the beginning of the call, don't start your fast if you know you really jacked your prep up, don't start it. Okay. Would anybody else like to jump in?
Just an extra point, just kind of about dry fasting, just to think about it like, when you sleep, I mean, you're technically dry fasting. It's no food, no water, and the process of when you're asleep is very, healing, rejuvenating, and things like that. Because a lot of people say, I've never dry fasted before. I'm like, well, you slept before. So just start there and just start to lean into it from that perspective and see, so much healing is happening during that time. So we have to remember, just that. And then I've told a few people that, and that helped them. So maybe it'll help somebody else on this call.
And just one thing. Here's the thing. We're dry fasting, which means you have other types of fasts that you can still do if you start to feel nervous. So we're not in your body. We're not going to be with you 24/7. And you know that if you've been taking medications and all this stuff, you're going to be detoxing those things. And you may start to experience extreme detox symptoms, especially if you're taking medication. And if you feel nervous, well, then just start drinking some water. Just plain and simple as that. If you feel nervous and you're like, oh my God, I feel like something crazy is happening, start drinking a little water, right? And then okay, well, I got about 16, 18 hours of dry fasting. And I know right now that's about my limit with dry. Start drinking a little water, right? And then you can then just finish off with like 2 days of water and go back into dry. Or you can do 1 day of water and then go back to another dry day. Or you can go to juice fasting, right? Like, understand that we can adjust this any way that we want. And if you feel that you are detoxing too heavily, then there are ways that you can bring this back and pull it back. And if you're not sure, reach out to one of the coaches. That's why we're here.
Yeah, okay. That's a great follow-up. I mean, this is the place for you to make quote unquote mistakes, right? Make mistakes, ask questions, or you're feeling something weird, ask questions, get a little clarity. This is the reason why the group, in my opinion, is so special. So I think my statement was more or less around the fact that we can go into this very nervous. We can what if ourselves to death. Don't what if yourself to death, right? Like, let's not live in the future. Let's live right here in the present, which Stephen mentioned. How do you feel right now? And we'll deal with things as they come. Now, if you're looking for like some natural support, if you're looking to like get off your medication, if you're on medication, I don't even know, but I'm assuming you are. But if you want to look at some oils and things of that nature, reach out to one of the lifestyle coaches so you can get some help with oils or some other tool that we have available to help you out. Okay. Now, I spent that much time on that question because it's not specifically about congestive heart failure. It's about all of the questions that are just like this one. Well, I'm a diabetic. What about me? I'm I've got high blood pressure. It's the goal is to get you guys to understand that you're in a safe space. What you're doing is actually natural, even though it feels unnatural. I understand. Well, that's because we were manipulated and we live very unnaturally in this world. And we've been taught we can't do things. Like, you guys ask me all the time, what's the most amount of dry fasting that a person can do? And I'm always cautious about answering that question because I don't want to encourage anybody to do anything that's not safe. But it's really up to how you feel each day. I was listening to Kevin Gates. It's just a short. I know he's a wild dude, whatever. But he was talking about how he's very intelligent. And he talked about how he dry fasts for like 21 days. I'm not going to tell y'all drive. You going to ask me, Chris, how long? I'm not going to tell you 21 days, but that's not because you can't do it. I can't tell you that. That's something you guys got to learn, work up to. You have to understand your body. There's a lot that comes with that, right? So we're doing a very short dry fast. And that's part of the reason why, is to make sure that we stay in those very safe ranges. You guys will be okay. All right. So I think you kind of like put this as we were talking about the date, like prep. When you don't prep properly, the biggest thing, danger is probably not the right word when it comes to going from what you're doing to dry fasting. It's more of like how your body's going to respond to the transition. So I saw someone, and the next question is, I've been losing clumps of hair this week. Is that normal and temporary? Right? So these two kind of go hand in hand. We are trying to get you guys to mitigate this type of reaction, where when you shock your system, the body starts to, hyperreact. For women who have been pregnant and have had babies, a stressful pregnancy, you might find that your hair also falls out. Now, we would never question and say, oh, the baby and the pregnancy is making me sick and it's making my hair fall out. We know that's a completely natural process. Your body's designed to do it. But why does your hair fall out sometimes when you're pregnant? It's because you're shocking your system. We live so toxic when we get pregnant. Well, not me, but when a woman gets pregnant, then the body starts to clean. The body starts cleaning, got to get the womb ready. Well, it's almost similar to eating toxic food and then just you stop and you start fasting. The way the body gets shocked. So you can experience these types of detox symptoms. And that's more or less what we're looking to protect you from going into the dry fast. Now, when you come out of the dry fast, that's a different story. That's when you can start having problems. That's where you'll hurt yourself. All right, Jasmine, do you want to go ahead and start? Let's get started on some of them questions.
Sure. So I'm believing it's March 18th. I have full left side paralysis and I get really bad back spasms. I'm on medication for them, but never know when they're going to happen. How do I navigate this fast and still be able to take the prescription medication?
I'll say this. I would start off, and this kind of goes back to exactly what I was just saying. I would start off as normal. Start off with the dry fast, as we have stated. And then if you are in a situation where you absolutely feel like you must take some type of medication, you can do two things. Number one, you can switch to juice fasting. Juice fasting has calories and it has energy. It has fiber in it. So it has those things that you can put in the stomach that will allow you to take medication. If you feel like that's not enough, then you can just do a smoothie. And that basically, technically, you'd be like OMAD, technically. But I would just do like a big smoothie whenever you feel like, on that day where you feel like you need to take that medication, do a smoothie and then do water for the rest of the day. So you may have to adjust based upon what you have going on. And that answer truly is for basically any medication question. Just simply adjust. Do what you can do with dry. And then if you feel like you need to make an adjustment, then you make that adjustment. But the goal obviously would be to get to the point where hopefully, no matter the medication, you can come off of it over time.
Yeah, I'll piggyback on that, or veggie back, my bad. Veggie back time. The most people, when I talk to them, their goal is to get off the medication. Okay. So understand, if your goal is to get off the medication, then what you have to do is poke at it. You have to poke the bear. I know we're told don't poke the bear. You're going to have to poke the bear. You're going to have to poke at it and see, is it going to wake up? Is it going to wake up? Now you have an amazing tool at your disposal with dry fasting or fasting in general. So just because you start fasting, whether you're doing dry or otherwise, and you start to have a bad reaction, it doesn't mean that it's not working or that you're not progressing. It's always probably going to get worse before it gets better. That's just what it is. So you got to keep playing with it. You got to keep playing with it. And slowly but surely, your body will adjust. So that's for people who want to get off their medication. If you want to get on it, stay on it. If that's not your goal, then, don't poke the bear. If you start feeling some kind of way, go ahead and do the smoothie and, do what you got to do. And, don't poke the bear as much.
So that poking the bear thing sounds like when I tell people about training, it's like see what your body can do with its own first. There's so much that you can actually accomplish, and you're only going to know it by testing your limits. I'm not saying to jump out there on the trampoline and jump 30 feet, but stick the toe out, and then stick your foot out, and then get your knee out there. And if you do it gradiently like that, you'll be able to really see start to see where your upper limit is, if you even have one, like Vegeta.
I mean, a lot of times medication, well, it's basically imitating what the body naturally does. They're just making you a customer in a sense. It's just like, hey, I have this, I want you to rely on this, but your body is naturally going to heal itself, and it's always going to do things that's going to put you in the best position to win. So I know it's a common thought to think like, yo, what can I do without this medication? But just how long do you want to be on that medication? Because it always ends up being a never ending cycle. Like there's like my brother, was on some medication for his like his mood swings or so, and he's been taking it since we were in high school, and that was like years ago. And I was talking, I was like, yo, why is he still taking this medication? Stop taking the medication. And then he stopped taking the medication and he was good. And so it's just like it's like this illusion that you need this medication to survive when your body naturally wants to keep you alive. So this dependency on these things that that's keeping us in this cycle, there needs to become a breaking point. And so the dry fast is like literally like the perfect scenario, because you're cleansing your system of all the, things that you've eaten and, that you've produced up until this particular point. And now you're getting healthier. Now you're going to feel the benefits of actually watching your body work for itself. So don't fret and don't overthink it when it comes to medication.
Okay. Awesome. So the next question is, can I use castor oil on my breast, or will it change the structure or density? I can start. It won't, I don't believe to be true, change the structure or the density. But it would be helpful because, castor oil can help, stimulate, lymphatic drainage. It can help reduce tenderness and swelling, and also like fibrocystic changes in the breast, because I've been able to experience, reduction of tenderness and swelling and things of that nature. So it actually, it would be a benefit. Castor oil has a lot of great benefits, including, it's an anti-inflammatory, and it can help reduce discomfort. So, but it won't change, increase or decrease breast size, to my knowledge, or change, breast tissue density. Anyone want to add or keep going?
Can't speak on that, Jazz.
Okay. All right. Next, nocturnal peeps. Is this more difficult for those of us who sleep during the day against the body's natural circadian rhythm?
The dry fast itself making it difficult if you have a night cycle instead of a day cycle? Is that essentially what it's saying?
Yeah, saying like I guess people who sleep during the day maybe work the night shift, so their natural body circadian rhythm is like off. So is it more difficult for them to dry fast?
I wouldn't say that it's more difficult simply because the body is incredibly adaptive. Anything that you do with any regularity, your body's going to adapt. That's how it keeps us alive for so long, even in this state of constant toxicity. So, I mean, maybe some other people have got something on that, but I wouldn't think that having a reverse cycle would necessarily be highly difficult or affected. I mean, obviously, going with the grain, going with the flow would be better, but again, being as adaptive as the body is,
I think you answered that perfectly.
great.
All right. Next question: is water more hydrating when you use more infusion, lemon and cucumber in one glass, chia seed and lemon together, etc.?
She got a whole concoction going on.
Yeah, all these different things we say are like different like suggestions to just help to hydrate the water. The key here is to hydrate it, make it more hydrating, whether you sun charge your water, infuse it with, lemon and or lime, cucumber. But the goal here is just do something, take the water, the dead bulk water and help bring life back to the water, hydrate it, energize it, do all these different things. So I think the important part is to actually just choose something and then actually do it. Okay, I'll keep going. If we have a detox and parasite tea, can we use it during the DR96 challenge? If so, when?
Yes, you can use it obviously during the prep. Obviously, we've passed that at this point. You can use it on your refeed, and then definitely use it on when we actually finish and we're doing that last full refeed after the second cycle of the DR96. You can use it then. But yes, you can absolutely use it. Clearly, you don't want to use it while you're dry fasting, though. But yeah.
Okay, someone asked about hair fall. I'm not going to read that because you already kind of answered it. If we wanted to keep going after this challenge of 2 cycles of the 4 days dry fasting, but adopt it to 2 days of dry fasting, will we need to do at least 2 days of refeed in between cycles, since the first day after dry fasting is basically water only? Or how do you suggest approaching it if we want to keep going but want to do less than 4 days of dry fasting per cycle?
Steve, I think you probably are best suited.
I will say this. Chris, I don't know why you kicked it to me, Chris. I think that your answer is great. Chris has very well crafted this cycle, the DR96 as a cycle. If you want to decrease those dry fasting days after the challenge, but still continue on, then do that. I guess was the question, do I have to do 2 days of eating? Is that was the main question if you're decreasing the dry fasting day?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, yeah, I would say no. If you feel like we have to understand this is a structure. You can mix and match and change things as you kind of see fit. We don't suggest making changes in the beginning, especially if you don't really know what you're doing. But you can make changes if you need to. So if you want to drop a day of dry and do 3 days, then you can do 1 day of water, 1 day of eating, and then start your dry fast again. So, yes.
Cool.
You're definitely gonna get into a groove, and you'll know, like, okay, all right, you'll know, but do it as instructed first.
Yeah. How to prevent leg cramps?
Stay hydrated. That's John. I don't know if you've got more as far as stretching or massaging, but staying hydrated is probably the best thing you could do. It was that
hydration, I think sometimes the crampy stuff be happening with like potassium deficiencies or whatever. If
It can
I'm
happen for multiple reasons, but it's electrolyte or mineral deficiency. If you have chronic cramping, it's not just hydration. Well, hydration is your minerals and electrolytes. That's what really the overarching what hydration is. This is why hydration is not just water. Hydration really comes from your food. But yeah, sorry.
Well,
but yeah, just make sure that you are hydrated, especially when your refeeds, not just with water, but maybe you want to skip water and then do juice on your refeeds. Not the first day, because the first day you do water, but do juice. This is going to help bring back those things. There's a lot of minerals and electrolytes and stuff in fresh juices. You don't get any of that in water. And then I think that like stretching, massaging the area, making sure that you don't sit too long, and making sure you're getting out and walking. These things help move the body, and this is going to be really good to not get cramping.
see, as the body starts to get that flow going again, if you've been sedentary and stuff, and that flow starts coming back in, they start to shift, and you think, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Like, oh, you've been doing things one way, and adaptation has allowed you to do it, and now you're doing things another way, and your body has to. It's like working out again for the first time. You'll get that DOMS, you'll get that soreness, and it's not gonna be that bad the first or the second day, but the third day you wake up, you're like, oh, I can't walk. So, like Steve, a bunch of different stuff, but there's a lot of things we have to see your whole chart. We have to see everything, and it's just can't do it over. You already asked the question, so we need more information.
We still give you a lot, but
yeah, that was a lot of great helpful tips. So awesome. Okay, should I continue on HRT during the fast?
HRT.
High resistance training
Okay, maybe it is HRT.
or hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah, it's
Probably hormone replacement therapy. Yeah.
I wish people wouldn't abbreviate because it's like we
don't know what you're talking about. There's so many different.
I don't think that we can truly answer this question.
You could go to the next. We don't know.
Yeah. During the 4 days of dry fasting, can I still use my infrared sauna daily, or should I wait and use the sauna on the 3 days during refeed? I would say wait. Definitely wait.
The sauna?
Yeah, the sauna, infrared sauna.
I mean, we're talking about, like, I didn't say sauna, but like this is why sometimes these questions, because are we talking about a sauna like you go to Planet Fitness and you just lay in a bed and it's just light but it's not heat, or are we talking about one that's heated?
Yeah.
So in general, like we have to understand, like any kind of external therapy, as Chris stated earlier, nothing is as effective as dry fasting, water fasting, juice fasting, period. There are things that can assist, but we have to understand that the body is going to be doing so much work that the red light therapy couldn't even dream of doing while you're dry fasting. And you can very much put yourself in a position to where you are overloading yourself, and it can definitely get you to actually break your fast because you're doing too much. Because red light therapy does detox you as well. And if you're already detoxing heavily with dry fasting, and then you're adding red light therapy on it, it can cause sensitivity, it can cause irritation on the skin, all these different things. We can just take a break from all this stuff and just focus on the dry fasting. Your red light therapy will be there after this is done.
Yeah, or the infrared sauna, whichever it is. Yeah. Just for these, I'll just say this for like the next set of questions, the more specific you guys can be, like the more specific we can be able to respond, because the vagueness, is just very vague sometimes. Okay.
Somebody said you need lots of water with the red light therapy. It's just like with the patches. You got to drink that water. And another thing is, if you're in the sauna, but you're not just physically active, but like if you are deconditioned, meaning out of shape, it's going to be harder for you to stay in the sauna for any length of time. So if you are out of shape and I want to do in the sauna, do this extra stuff. It's stressful to be in the sauna. Quick story: when I was in Korea, I was in the sauna with my friend who I was working out, and I couldn't stay in that sauna for more than like 5 to 7 minutes when I first started. I was young, 22, 23, whatever. And I couldn't stay in there for much. And as I was working out, I was able to stay in it longer and longer. So your physical fitness has a direct impact on your ability to withstand burdens, whether they be physical weight or extreme temperature or whatever. It has you can withstand more burdens. So it's just another factor to consider with that. But I just wanted to add that.
Awesome. Okay. I have a colonoscopy on Friday. Will it still be okay to start dry fasting on Monday? Oh, she already had it or not?
Just so you know, even though we're past it, that's completely fine.
Okay. Awesome. I would like to continue 2 more cycles after the fast, and depending on where I am, I would go into water fasting. How much of a break between fasts is optimal?
Oh, Jasmine, were you about to answer that?
No, you got it.
There's no, you don't have to take a break when you're moving from one to the other. It's really, we're literally teaching you the transition. So you don't want to go from, so for example, I prefer to go dry to water and then to juice if you're going to go in that order. But just always understand that you got to just come off of dry fasting very slowly, and you always need to go water first. But there's really no optimal amount of like time or whatever. What I'll say is this: Jasmine and I do 20-minute calls. They're discounted during this time of coaching. Schedule a 20-minute call. Like some of these questions are great questions, but then some of them require so much more of more that we need to know in order for us to properly give you a true, like, here's how you want to do it, a personalized answer. So just FYI for anybody, because there may be some factors that we say, you know what, maybe you don't need to start this, or maybe you need to do it this way. So just FYI for everybody.
Okay. I have been taking hydro CEIDNE, I'm not sure, over a decade after spine surgery. I am afraid to cut off that medicine at once. The pain is unbearable and doesn't let me sleep or walk. What should I do for this dry fast?
Don't there's certain when it comes to hormone replacement therapy and stuff, you don't want to just cut that off. You guys know, I think we've addressed this question many times. And these questions were submitted ahead of time too. So if you all are using a medication and you know you can't just cold turkey get off of it, don't. Okay? Don't do anything. Understand that we're talking to hundreds of people. All right. Our information is very general. This is why Steven mentioned Jazz and Steve have those calls available. If you know that you can't just stop taking your hormone replacement therapy or whatever medication you're on, don't just stop taking it. So we made a recommendation to simply push the medication out for as long as you can, as long as it's reasonable. If you can take it late in the evening and you could do your dry fast all day long, great. If you have to take it first thing in the morning, take it first thing in the morning. Do the best you can. So like don't turn your logic off. Don't think that anybody can ever tell you what's best for your body and your system.
Good answer.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Why is the DR96 calendar in the Quick Start Guide different than the one for the months of March and April? We are only doing 8 days of dry fasting. I thought it was 16 for a month to lose that 33 or 43 pounds you said.
The Quick Start Guide is for before the challenge.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, Jen, just so you guys understand, because I think that it's probably a very similar question about the same question. The whole challenge, what is it, Chris? Exactly 28 days, or what the from beginning to the end. So understand that you have your actual cycle, your DR96 cycle, which there's 2 of them. And then you have your preparation, and then you have your full refeed after. So we're teaching you the full range of the entire thing. And that's why it's called the Blitz, because it is the shorter of all of them. But it is still almost 30 days. It's just not 30 days of fasting.
Awesome. Okay. Regarding colonics, when should we have them?
Yes. So you want to do them at the end of your week if you're going to do it at the end of the week or the beginning of. I mean, we're at this point. If you did it on Monday, it's fine. You know what I mean? I wanted you guys to do the colonics starting at the end of your first prep week, and then at the end of your first dry fast refeed. So you would do it during the refeed, and then the following week, and then after your refeed, we off cycle and we start doing our refeed to transition back into normal eating. You hit another colonic. So you do three to four colonics throughout the entire process, pretty much once a week at the end of the weeks. I wanted to address something. It looks like in the comments people are saying it's hormone replacement therapy. The HRT is what whoever was talking about. So we already kind of addressed that. Yeah, if you need to keep taking it, keep taking it.
Okay. I have been on water since March 1st, with the exception of 16 to 20 ounces of fresh pressed juice each day. And I plan to just keep going until Monday when the dry fast starts. My question is to you, should my refeed days be different than what the guide says in between the dry fast?
No.
Hold on, Steve. Here's because I have another question about that, the refeed with the guide. I get what you're about to say, Steve. I'm gonna tell you this. If your question is, can I just keep doing the juice and the water because that's all you've been doing anyway, that's fine, right? Because it's in alignment with the guide. It's in alignment with what our refeed is. If your question is, can I eat something different? No, I mean, follow the guide. But I think, Steve, I think what they're saying is, hey, I'm doing water and juice already. Can I just do water and juice on my refeed? Because I've seen that question a few times.
I did. That's not what I thought the question was.
Okay.
If I'm understanding correct, maybe Jazz, you can read the question again. I thought they were just saying, I'm doing prep. I've already been doing my juice and water. Can I continue that? Go to the dry and then just do the refeed on the same day as you guys do your refeed. That's the way I took it. That's what my answer was, yes. So if it was different.
Okay. My question to you is, should my refeed days be different than what the guide says in between the dry days? I mean, well, you got two different answers. So
No. I mean, just it would say the same. Just because you were doing water and juice prior, it doesn't change anything. That's great. You were doing that. But if you're going to follow the DR96 protocol, just stick with the protocol as is. You wouldn't change anything just because you were doing water and juice throughout your entire prep. I believe that's my answer.
And that's correct, right? That's correct. If your goal, and once again, I got this question about the refeed. This is why my mind went here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, if your goal is to like max out the process, you're like, I want to do juice and water during the refeed days. I mean, you can if you want to. If this person is asking that, then it's fine because they've been doing, their body's acclimatized. They've been doing the juice and water all month, right? If you have not been doing that, you need to follow the DR96 protocol. Because then your body is going to, you might start craving more food, more. You might, and then when you start doing your dry fast the second time, you might not be as successful. So.
Okay. Awesome. Hi. In France, where I live, you can't find distilled water. I try to make my own distilled water, but it takes forever. How can I easily find demineralized water in plastic bottles? So can I drink that instead? If yes, how can I get rid of horrible taste caused by plastic bottles? If not, what can I drink? Thanks.
Okay. I have a little bit of a maybe unconventional thing for you, but I have on my website a energetic way to do that very thing that you're asking for, that will clear out and energize your water, take out the neutralizing those things, those harmful microplastics and all those types of things, and that will shift the taste of the water and the frequency of the water. So you can go there. Oh, I can't type it in because I can't log in on this thing. But
I'll type it in for you.
okay, thanks. But yes, and this is another reason why it's so important to have different tools, because I didn't know that people couldn't get distilled water. But it's on there, and there's just you don't even have to have the sound on, but you can just play it to your water, and it will take care of that for you. So you could try that and let me know how it goes.
In addition to that, if you can't find distilled water, and obviously, we're in America, so for me, I'm just like, we just find distilled water everywhere, right? But for you, maybe a little different. But I know that, like, especially in Europe, they use a lot of glass, and you may not be able to find distilled, but you can probably find, you can probably find alkaline. You can probably find a lot of spring water. And being in Europe, a lot of the springs are there, so you actually might have some good spring waters there where we don't. And there's a lot of water that you can find in glass, right? But I'll say this: don't like beat yourself up crazy if you can't find the most optimal thing, right? I mean, if you can buy a distiller and do it on your own, it is pretty quick. If you're trying to boil water and do it that way, it's going to take forever. But if you have an actual distiller, it does do it fair. I mean, it takes some time, but I mean, it's automatic. But other than that, just find glass and find a spring water, or I mean, maybe even a sparkling water, because I know a lot of sparkling waters in Europe as well. That's just naturally sparkling. It's not actually carbonated. It's just naturally that way. These things might just be a better option for you, especially living in France.
Awesome. Did the everything bundle come with the appetite suppressant tea?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Can I drink tart or cherry tart juice? Do you recommend it?
Tart cherry?
Well, are we? See, this is one of those I wish we had more. Tart cherry juice is fantastic. I mean, whether you're doing a liver and gallbladder flush or whether you want to drink it at night, it's really good for like nighttime, for helping you to fall asleep. In general, it's a very high antioxidant drink. So if you want to use it, fantastic. I wouldn't recommend it on juice days, or like drinking a gallon of it. But if you just want to have some, just to have some, it's a fantastic juice to have in your rotation.
Cool.
Fantastico. Huh?
Can we keep on the DR96 for longer than 4 weeks? If yes, do we continue the same cycle as needed to lose weight? 4 dry fast, 3-day refeed, repeat. If no, limited to 4 weeks. How long before can we restart it? And do we need a whole nother 7-day prep again?
Chris?
Yeah, you guys can continue doing the DR96 for as long as you want. It's a very safe protocol. I was very mindful putting it together. That's the reason why, we really prefer you guys follow it the way it's outlined, because it will make sure that you get all the nutrients you need. It'll make sure you're hydrated well. It'll make sure you don't break it improperly, and you could do it indefinitely. Like, you can, if you've got 100 pounds you want to knock out and you want to do it for 3 months, you could do it for 3 months and knock out the 100 pounds, So.
Awesome. Unfortunately, I didn't receive the memo for prepping. The only thing I saw on the guide was that drink a gallon of water, OMAD juice. I wasn't aware that we were to follow a certain meal plan. I was under the impression that we ate our regular meals. With that being said, I'm on my 6th day of prep. Should I postpone my dry fast about a week to start over, since I didn't know that we needed to follow the meal plan? Also, with the juice on day 6, are we able to include protein powder in the smoothies? Thank you.
I think this person may be a little. When did that message come in, Jazz? You see the date?
This was on the 22nd. Yesterday.
Okay, I think you may be confused, so I'm not sure. we don't have a meal plan for the prep.
Mhm.
So I just want to make sure that you actually messed up and you just don't think you messed up. You know what I mean? Um, I'm gonna grab the link to the preparation video because listen, y'all, we can only I'm not omnipotent. I can't whisper in your ear, join the live stream. I can't message your phone. I can't call you. You guys have to pay attention and be engaged, right? So we do our best. If anybody has any advice, you're a participant, you have advice. Hey, Chris, in order, for people to be able to get information and everybody understands everything easier or better, you could do this. You could try this. I'm open. I'm always open to suggestions. We have done everything we know to do at this point to make sure that you guys are all on the same page. We have the live streams. We send out emails. We told you guys on the intro live to check in once a day. So there's that. I'm going to get the link to the preparation video that I did so that you guys can get a little clarity if that's what you need. And then based on that video, if you feel like you didn't properly prepare, that's understandable. Because obviously today we were doing juice, right? So if you've been eating up until this point, then yeah, you need to do, but you don't need to do a whole 7 days of prep. You're going to have to look at what you've done up until this point and compare it to what was recommended and see where you're at in that process.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that if you feel like you've been doing decent and you've been doing juice and you've been doing, you've been changing your diet, then you may just need to do 2 days of the juice. And I think for a lot of people where they feel like they messed up, they probably didn't mess up as bad as they think. They really could probably just do juice tomorrow, all fruit and vegetable, do fruit till 12 o'clock, and then green juice till midnight on Tuesday, and they can start their dry fast on Wednesday. So people probably didn't mess up as much as they thought.
Yeah. Okay. This might be a repeat question. What are the signs that I should stop dry fasting and hydrate immediately? I thought humans couldn't live more than 3 days without water.
We know that's not true.
We already went over that.
Yeah, we went over that.
Okay.
They be lying to y'all, man.
We've definitely been lying.
Yeah.
Kevin Gates did 21 days, baby.
Yeah.
21 day dry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This boy is crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, he's wild.
Yeah. And me and Steven did 3 cycles of 10-day dry fast with like 1 day in between. And I don't remember eating on that day. I think we did like water and juice only. And we are here to talk about it.
Woo, boy.
Yeah, y'all are wild.
Yeah, we are wild. So, okay. If we are finding it difficult to prolong the dry fast, can we intermittent alternate dry fast one day with keeping the same principle during the refeed to drink water slowly and consistently all day, and then maybe 2 MAD after 1 or 2? That's a lot.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Sweet.
How to deal with emotional eating when I get overwhelmed? I tend to eat even when I'm not hungry. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So first of all, what is the thing that makes you emotional? If you know that, because if you know your triggers, then you have the ammo to therefore shoot them down when they pop up. But then it's just like find another thing that is not food related that gives you the same feeling of relief. And that's just going to take some effort on your part. That's a very quick response, but it's that kind of stuff is more nuanced for sure, but it's about looking for things. See, the problem is growing up, we were rewarded with food, we were punished with food or the lack thereof. Everything, every time something good is all food related. So it kind of set us up for failure in that way. But you have to make some extra effort to begin looking at other things outside of food and disempower the connection with food as a reward system. and start looking for other things to reward you. So it's going to take some extra effort on your part, but it is worth it, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. And just to add in, like, finding like other coping mechanisms, we use food to cope. So just starting with, journaling, like what comes up, meditation. There's a lot of other ways that we can, start coping when, you want to, eat something. And I always like to say, if hunger isn't the problem, then food isn't the solution. You might be hungry for something else, but you're like thinking it's like food hunger, physical hunger, but you might more likely be hungry for something deeper, and this is where we get to connect, with ourselves more spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and really see what comes up as we go through this process. So that is a live I'm actually going to do probably next Monday, but yeah, in the meantime, just start to lean into other coping mechanisms.
And when that emotion starts to blossom, when that emotion to eat, that emotional eating, I would say take before you start to act and give into that impulse, take 10 minutes to decide if this is what you truly want to do. Is this serving you? Is this your higher version, the higher version of yourself? Yes, we have those desires, and I'll be looking at bag of chips like, man, I want to go in on them bad boys. But hey, is this part of my health journey? Is this going to allow me to get into that size full I want to get into? Whatever size you trying to get into. I'm just saying, is it serving you to give into those emotional impulses? So and it's sort of like same thing with like anger. If anyone has anger, anybody got anger out there, before you act, or if you do something that you'll regret later, you should think about it, sit in that thought, and how will this affect me? How will this affect the people that's around me? Because some of those decisions we don't ponder about, we don't give ourselves time to actually think about, and then we do things and we start to feel bad about it later. So take some time to yourself.
Yeah,
That sounds like that impulse control.
Yeah. Also, what I found really helpful, also anger is a secondary emotion. If you don't know that, you should check out the 40-day wellness course that Chris and Steven created. It's available digitally. I went through it, and it really allows you to take like a deeper dive on, a whole lot of things, including emotions. So if you do find yourself to be angry a lot, it's like anger is not the original emotion you're feeling. It's something else that, is like manifesting as anger. So maybe we could drop the link here for people who may be interested, but if you're wanting to really take a deeper dive on things of that nature, it was like amazing. So
it was amazing, if I do say so myself.
Sure. Okay. Hello. During day 2 of my upcoming refeed day, I plan to eat 2 meals within a 6-hour feeding window consisting of raw fruits and vegetables that have at least 75% water content. I know that avocado has 73. Is that also permanent? Does anyone know if I can eat 2 avocados per day, one at lunch, one at dinner, or I must limit myself to 1 avocado if it's okay with that less than 2%?
Hey, I would just say for other reasons, just in the interest of time, avocados are absolutely fantastic. But understand that they are very fatty. And if you are dealing with a lot of overweightness, then it's going to, a lot of it's going to come down to your liver, and the liver doesn't like a lot of fat. So while avocado is extremely good, and I think everyone should eat 1 a day, maybe 2 may not be the best, or maybe 2 medium ones instead of 2 big ones. But I mean, listen, don't split hairs over avocados. I mean, if you're eating fruits only, and you got to go between 1 or 2 avocados, don't even think about it. Just go ahead and have 2. But if you're talking about eating all this other food, and now you got to be between 1 or 2 avocados, well, then just have 1. But if you're talking about mostly fruits, go ahead and have your second avocado. Don't overthink avocado.
I'm gonna eat an avocado, man.
Yeah, hey, go ahead and eat that avocado.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
You give away.
Beat me to it.
I know I should not be taking any blood pressure meds during the dry fast, but my blood pressure shoots up really high. I assume I should go ahead and take it, or should I wait it out as long as possible and hope it goes down? For some reason, my blood pressure goes high at times, even if I do not eat anything while still taking the blood pressure meds. Also, do we apply lotion and deodorant during the dry fast? Oh, two different questions.
Your blood pressure is going to fluctuate a lot. But the really good thing about fasting, dry, water, juice, is that you're going to see your blood pressure for like 99% of people is going to go down. If you have low blood pressure, you may actually see it go up. It is going to normalize your blood pressure. And that is for a lot of different reasons. So what I would suggest is don't take it. As we talked about with medication multiple times. And I think the thing about like medication, we've talked about this before, that people think like, oh, I've been taking it. And because I'm fasting, like, oh, I still got to take it. But how many times have you like traveled somewhere or woke up late and just forgot to take your medication, didn't take it that day, and you're still okay, right? Like it'll be okay.
It'll be
You know
all
what I'm saying? Like you'll be all right. You want your blood pressure to regulate, and usually, if you're dealing with high blood pressure, as soon as you start fasting, you will notice that decrease. But you may have some ups and downs as well. There was another part to that question I don't remember, but if someone else does,
They talk about lotion and deodorant.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, go ahead, Mel. You sound like you want the answer.
Oh no, I mean,
Make sure that lotion and deodorant don't got no aluminum in it. At the very
I
least.
was just about to say, do y'all like people still use deodorant? That's
Yes.
my mind. That's how I'm
Yes,
thinking.
Mel. A lot of people still use deodorant.
Get you some lime essential oil and put that under the arms. That is great deodorizer.
Yeah, I got
Or
lemon
a whole lime.
Yep, lime juice. Lime. The reason why it throws us off is a lot of us don't actually use deodorant and stuff.
I don't.
It's very, very toxic. Obviously, if you're going to use some type of deodorant, then it needs to be healthy. There's lots of different alternatives for deodorant. Like John had mentioned, maybe you guys need to reach out to a lifestyle coach and figure out what you need. But one of the things you guys could do is start eliminating the health and beauty products in your house for long-term lifestyle change, because that stuff's not helping you. It's not good for you.
Also, in lotion, like don't just use regular lotion. Use coconut oil. I mean, there's all these different natural oils out there. I would not suggest just using lotion. Start switching that out to like coconut oil.
Body
You can use
butter.
castor oil, got a body butter. Like there's all these different things you can use. Yeah, but not traditional lotion.
No Jergens.
No Jergens.
Awesome. Okay.
That's on the fruit.
This is the last question. I'm a diabetic who's afraid of low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, or high blood sugar, diabetic ketoacidosis while fasting. Do you agree with any of the below tips? It is just so many tips that I'm just not even going to read. But let's see. Do you agree with exercise, hydrating, managing your stress? Yes, we do. High blood sugar levels are known as okay.
Oh,
It's yeah.
I listen. Let me say this. You don't have to read all those. Let me say this. In this specific scenario, we're not going to be able to properly answer this question at this point in time with everybody here. Like to try to ease, if the conversations at this point, I know that this question was asked earlier. But if what we've talked about at this point has not been able to ease your mind around that, then this is when you need to go ahead and schedule a call with one of the coaches to help ease your mind. But I can say this, diabetes specifically is probably the easiest disease that is incurable that fasting will cure. And I don't, any one of the other coaches can tell me one better. Let me know. I think we'll all agree, but it is the easiest. And the reason for that is because you are able to remove a lot of the sugar out of the bloodstream, right? The body's able to go into the pancreas and start doing a lot of that healing, and it's able to go into the liver and start doing a lot of that healing as well. There's so many things that the body does specifically for diabetes, and it is the easiest thing for the body to heal. You're not going to have to deal with ketoacidosis. You're not going to go into hyperglycemia. You're not going to have any of those issues. But depending on where you are and how severe things are for you, you may start detoxing really powerfully in the beginning. So you need to. This is why I said maybe you want to have a conversation with one of the coaches. But I promise you, it is the easiest thing for fasting to deal with. It's like that.
Okay, listen. Thank you, Jasmine. Because I was having trouble getting through that list. I knocked out most of them, but y'all was, man, it's something about dry fasting because it's new. You know what I mean? So you guys have way more questions than normal. All right, we are going to get into a few of the starred questions we have left, and then we'll be wrapping up. But before we do it, I have to address something that I saw in the chat. I'm going to preface this to let you know, whoever you are, the individual, because I'm not going to highlight the individual, but I'm going to preface this to let you know this is not me attacking you. This is me offering insight, perspective, a little coaching, and asking that you're coachable. Okay. And anybody here, you got to be coachable. If you're here and you paid to be here, you got to be coachable. Why else are you here? So John had mentioned that you can put your body in the ocean and absorb water through your skin, right? By being in the ocean. And someone said, you can't do that. That's not true. Here's the thing. I don't know why you said you can't do that. It's not true. I don't know if you're like a marine biologist or some type of, I don't know what your profession is. I don't know what background you have or why you just instantly was like, that's not true. Maybe you Googled it real quick. I don't know. But what I will tell you is whether you have some type of professional background, whether you just simply Googled it, or whether you were just like, that doesn't make sense, that's not true. The first thing I need you to understand, and this doesn't have anything to do with specifically this person and this question, I'm just using this as an example. I want you guys to apply this holistically. The first thing you have to do is understand that what we have been taught, mainstream knowledge, is probably, I don't even know what percentage is a lie, but at least 20% of what we've been taught is a lie. At least 20% is just an absolute lie. You know, there's probably a large percentage of stuff we've been taught that's half truths, you know, but for us to just think that we know stuff because we learned it in our textbook or something, or because we just think it and we have nothing to back it up, that's just not a good way to approach things. There is a lot that we are going to talk about and teach during this challenge that people at particular times would have been like, that's a lie. For example, I just posted in the Facebook group, and the Facebook, I was telling them, I'm like, hey, I just perfected my strategy for how to lose 80 pounds in 3 months. Come join AHA communities and I'll teach you, right? And somebody in the comment section was just like, that's dangerous. Why would you ever want to lose weight that fast? You can cause heart problems. You can cause this, that, whatever. I understand why you're saying that. Like, I get where it's coming from because you believe the mainstream narrative. You believe what you were taught. That's fine. I understand that. This space is for people who are open-minded, who are looking to learn outside of what they know. See, you can't be here and know it all. Because if you're here and you know it all, why are you here? There's no reason for you to be here, right? So John, me, Jazz, Mel, Steve, no one's going to tell you something just because they think or they hope or because they want it to be a certain way. We only talk about what we know, what we experience. Now, I want to pose this question because if you Google it, Google will tell you the body doesn't absorb water, right? And that's why I said that. Maybe you Googled it. I don't know. It is absolutely absurd to think that the body doesn't absorb water through the skin. It's absurd. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you use the same tool, Google, to say, can the body absorb chemicals through the skin? It'll say yes, of course. Is water not a chemical? H2O, is that not a chemical formula? I'm just confused.
Mate.
I'm confused, right? They're talking out this. It's like the same machine you use to get your information will tell you yes and no in the same breath. We cannot trust Google. And I want to make sure that people understand Google is not a primary source of information. Okay. Never is Google. You're never going to Google can da 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 da, and it's providing you a primary source of information. It's a search engine. Okay. So we know that the body can readily absorb chemicals. We know the body can readily absorb all sorts of things. That's the reason why you have to be careful. One of the ways to detox is through the feet, right? You can easily detox through the feet because the feet will readily release. Well, don't you think if something can open a door to release, it could also open a door to absorb? I mean, just logically thinking, like it's a door. It's a door. You could go both ways in a door. It's a door. That's all it is. Now, obviously, you know, there's certain doors that are designed to be exit only, you know, and we talked about enemas and we talked about colonics, and those may be considered exit only doors. All right. But we also know that you can put water in that door as well. Like you can put water in that door. Okay. So once again, it's not about you, the person who made that comment. That's not about you at all. It's more about the energy around it. And also, I want to make sure that other people who might be, you know, viewing that comment and maybe then they're like, I don't know, starting to feel some kind of way. I don't want the seed of these guys don't know what they're talking about to ever be planted. Okay. So hopefully I did a good job of kind of addressing that. I wasn't to be rude or mean. All right.
You did.
I'm glad you brought it up because I peeped that.
I'm going to get hyped, man. Like, woo, talk to him, baby. All right, let me relax.
All right. So we're going to grab a couple of these questions and then we're going to wrap up. Can you tell us what specifically to listen for as we listen to our bodies? Who wants to kind of approach that?
Yes, me, real quick. So obviously, there's what that means is very nuanced. There's a lot here. But if you're, it's not just like, oh, am I a little bit tired? But if you are feeling a little bit tired, that doesn't mean, oh, do I need to break my fast? Maybe just sit down somewhere. Sit down, be still. Doesn't necessarily mean you got to take a nap, but it can just mean just be still, because the fasting is very taxing, especially dry fasting. It's very taxing. So if you feel that, I feel tired, that's a signal to you to let you know that your body requires more energy, and to be more energy efficient, sitting still is extremely efficient because you're using very minimal energy. Okay. There are things like, if something hurts, in your body, well, why does it hurt? Is it a dull pain? Is it sharp? This is, again, there's a lot of stuff here. And I had better things earlier when I first saw this, but it's all good. But listening to your body is because it's, we say that a lot, but it's like, you got to be in tune. You have to ask the question, because when you ask the question, you put an energy out there, and then listen for the answer. What is this thing? Am I really hungry, or am I just, is it just noon? This is when I usually have lunch. Or, do I really need this certain thing? Or is it just because of my habit, my habituation, that brings it around at this time and my body's telling me, oh, this is what you normally do? Then you have to be intentional and say, oh, okay, I'm not doing that right now. So there's different things that go along with that. And again, it's just like, it's been a while. It's like, I wanted to answer this way before, and I know we're like an hour and a half in.
It's all good. I think listening to your body is not hearing with your ears. It is being intentional. It's checking in with yourself. It's questioning things. And it's also, as you detox, your body becomes more sensitive, and it'll teach you, and it's an ongoing process, and you'll learn and get better. Okay. You can't expect to be able to communicate with your body effectively when it's sick. So as you guys start to detox more, you'll be able to listen better. Sometimes it's good to lean on other people's experience and expertise so you can ask questions if you're not sure.
Yeah. And just to give a simple example, because sometimes people like don't understand that, it's like our body is always talking. We're just lousy listeners. We don't really hear it until it screams. So what does that mean specifically is like, say you wake up with a headache. Are you deficient in Advil or Tylenol? Like, and no, I'm not being funny. Like, this is my example. So it's like, no, your body is not screaming out because it's deficient in that. You might just be dehydrated. So that is your body. That's a form of the way the body is communicating with you. Headache doesn't equal Advil deficiency. Perhaps equals dehydration. So
that was very good.
That was very good, but it was also funny. But it was very good.
It was also funny. Yes.
Because it was funny, so that's cool.
What time we collectively start the dry fast hour? 12 midnight or later Monday morning? So I'm assuming that you haven't looked at our guide. I think we have. Well, we usually put the time in there. I got it. Shell's not here to double check.
Yeah.
We the time we usually do 12 p.m. or 12 noon, whatever.
PM,
12 noon, 12 p.m. I'm not going to be eating tomorrow at all, right? So tonight, when I have my last little bit of juice, that's it. But because we always used to get this question early on, we say, okay, fast starts at 12 p.m., Monday, 12 noon. That means you're going to break it 4 days later at 12 noon, okay? So that's the answer, 12 noon. How do you use Restore? It didn't come with instructions. Hope this isn't a dumb question. Dumb? I pulled a Mel. I knew that was dumb question, but that was like dumb question. I have been looking online for directions. So this question leads me to believe that you haven't seen the video where I actually went over how to use all the products and everything. So I'm gonna grab that link. And okay, I'm gonna give you both links again. So I have the preparation link. I want you to make sure to watch the preparation link. I'm gonna put that in here real quick. And then I have a video. I did a live where I went over all the products and how to use them. And I'm gonna put that one in there too. This is for anybody who has any questions like this. The instructions were to use the Restore at the end of your fast week or your prep week. So it's designed to be used at the end of the week. You take both Restore. Someone had asked, well, can I split it up and do, half in the morning, half in the evening? You could do that as well. But you're going to take them on at the end of your week. So when you start your refeed, it's not like a specific day. Okay. What Restore is designed to do is help cleanse your body after you've been dumping all those toxins into your system. It'll help clean it out. And it also does help to open up elimination pathways. So that's why I recommended it in the first place. On day 5, only water dry. Wait, on day 5, only water day. Okay. Wait, okay. You're in the future. I'm reading this. I'm thinking you're already on day 5. Sorry, y'all. Been a long week. All right, on day 5, only water day. Does this also include the appetite suppressant tea or just plain water only? You can do the appetite suppressant tea on that day as well. And I think I addressed this in my preparation call or my supplemental call, one of those 2 calls. So make sure you guys are listening to those calls so that you can be 100% sure because I don't think in the guide we didn't go into detail about that. So you guys got to watch those calls. Should we still do the caster pack tonight if we are starting the dry fast tomorrow? Yeah, you could do the caster pack, no problem. Can Jazz and Steven tell us about your 10-day dry fast? I think they could do that. We'll do that. We'll do that at a different time, though. We won't do it tonight. But if you guys want to, either do a video and talk about your 10-day dry fast, or when you guys do your individual calls, you can add that information. We're just running low on time right now. Okay, we already got that one. What's the difference between taking the regular juice and the green juice for the second half of the day? It's just to allow the body time to remove the sugar from your system. That's all. Just to make your transition into fasting a little bit more seamless. Just go and get the sugar out your system. Even if it's good sugar, you just want to go and get it out your system. Makes for an easier transition. Jonathan, how do you know if you have emotional or energetic blockages that's causing weight loss to slow or stop?
Okay, so this is a good one. I think I'll save it as far as because of the time restraint right now. That actually might be the first live that I do. We'll talk about that. But as a quick little hit, if you're doing things and that work and they suddenly aren't working, that is a very good indication. And again, I know it's a little dissatisfying because of the speed, but I only know because I'm living it. So, and I have a lot to say about it. But as a quick, if you're doing something that normally would work, and then suddenly it seems like it's not, or you're like fighting tooth and nail to get, and it's probably something like that. But yeah, I definitely will go into this in more depth. It will be this week. Matter of fact, I got to see, there's a couple of lives planned, but I am going to talk about this. And we're going to go through it. Okay. Smooth sailing. I did not forget about you, because that is a really good question.
Yeah. And Johnny, do you offer like a service for like energetic blockage release or removal that people could reach out to you for directly?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I
just like to share with people. Sometimes it's easier for other people to share like what our offerings are. And
Jasmine, you're amazing.
Directly. So
I was talking about John. He was like, yes.
Yeah. Is it okay to only drink water during the refeed days? So this was the question Steve was talking about earlier. And I've actually been asked this a couple times. Is it okay? Yes, it's okay. I would prefer that you guys do the DR96 as outlined. Okay. Sitting in the ocean. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that we went through that one. Do we drink on day 2 of the refeed?
Yes. It's not, yeah. You drink water, juice, and you eat.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We definitely hydrate back up.
Yeah, I was trying to. I was thinking maybe there was something else to that question.
Nope.
I received 6 Restore packets. Am I supposed to take 2 at prep and then 2 after the first DR96 and then 2 after so I basically already have gone over this one. I know this question was older, so make sure that you watch the videos that I recommended, and you guys can navigate there by going to the events tab and going to press the past button tab or whatever. So go to events, then push past and watch the prep video. And then watch the supplement video. Do you have a fasting app recommendation? Does anybody have an app recommendation? I don't use fasting apps. No. I would say that's a good question.
People gave answers in the chat, but
Okay.
I don't think any of us use fasting apps.
It's a good question to post in the group or even in the main Facebook, I said Facebook, AHA community, like post in the main area. Hey, what's a good fasting app? That's a great question for that. Does the yaqui juice count towards the green juice? Yes, it does. Yaqui is one of the goats.
The goat.
Is it better to peel fruit before adding to water, or does it not change the hydration level? You want to peel the fruit. Okay, so don't put a whole lemon in your water. Peel it first so that it can expose the water to the fruit inside. The peel is going to block water from penetrating. So there's an exchange that happens, and you want to expose the fruit to it. All right.
I just want to just say one thing, because I saw something that was posted on Mighty Network, and then now it's being posted here. When Chris was saying that we were starting the dry fast at 12 o'clock on Monday, that does not mean that you are drinking water up until 12 o'clock tomorrow. So that's just the time that is arbitrarily placed so that we're all on the same page. But as you notice, he said that when I'm done drinking this juice, I'm not going to be drinking anything tomorrow. So a good way to think about this is you are dry fasting from the time that you wake up tomorrow until the fourth day when you wake up. So don't think of it as, oh, I can drink up until 12 o'clock tomorrow. No. When you wake up in the morning, whether it's 5 or 6 in the morning, or whether it's 10 or 11 in the morning, you are not drinking anything. That just think of it that way. So I just try to clear up any confusion.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
I just want to make sure everyone tunes in to the events tab. I know there's a lot of lives. Well, I mean, if you look at last week compared to, it's like half of the amount of people that showed up or so. So I just want you all to make sure you all take advantage of being in the DR96 and make sure you tap into a lot of the events that that the coaches have. So that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Well, listen, tonight was it was a long one. You guys got good questions. You got a lot of concerns. Hopefully, I mean, I saw in the chat, it seemed like, some of you all you're getting it. You're getting it. You're appreciative. If you're very confused, if you don't know what's going on, it's a very good chance that you've missed something important. Okay. I find that sometimes people assume that we're just not providing information. We're not providing the proper guidance. With the amount of people that are in these challenges, if it was a us thing, if we were missing something major, we would know. Half of y'all would be like, yo, Chris, what is going on? Most of the times it's one or two people. We got to learn to take accountability. Okay. We have to learn to lock in. We got to learn to read. Got to learn to read, y'all. When you're in a challenge like this, there's 6 coaches. There's a lot of us, but it ain't that many of us. All right. My inbox is decimated. Okay. My inbox is decimated. I can't, I'm drowning. Okay. I'm doing the best I can. So if you're missing something, or you think you're missing something, the first thing you need to do is say, did I read everything? Okay. If you didn't read everything, you cannot say you're missing it. Right. If I give you $5 and I text you and I'm like, hey, I left it on the nightstand, and then you're in the car on your way to the gas station because you don't got gas, and I told you I was going to give you $5, and you're expecting me to cash app it to you, but you didn't read the text because I told you it was on the nightstand. Who's accountable there, right? So we just got to make sure that we are holding ourselves to a high level of accountability. Read your emails, read your guide, watch the videos. Don't be watching the videos and then watching something else, or actively doing something else, because then you're going to miss stuff, right? All right, cool. Hope you guys enjoyed the call. We're going to see you soon. Good night.
Bye-bye.
All right, holla at me.